If you're gonna eat, might as well taste good.
Hello. We got something in the mail. Love getting stuff in the mail. New toys. So, I am hearing all about this thing. Lately, it's all I hear about. The Hunsaker Vortex Smokers. They're from Columbia, Missouri. And I ordered it on July 22nd. Today is the 31st. I got it 2 days ago, 29th. So it took a little while to get here. UPS said this was 12 pounds. That feels about right. Looks like it was laser cut. It's got the number in there. Got some sort of oil finish on it. I'll have to scrub that off before I season it. It's already coming off on my hands. First impression, it's heavy. And that was what I was worried about. I was worried it wouldn't be heavy enough. Because they're actually saying vortex in the name of this, I'm assuming you do use it with a vortex. I was thinking you might just use baskets. This is good because I can put the baskets to the side to catch the grease. A lot of you have been talking about that. So I've had the Hunsaker griddle for almost a week now. There's a few things I want to talk about. Number one, let's talk about what it is. It is a 22-inch plate. It's rolled steel. Okay, it's not cast iron. I saw on an online forum that was cast iron, and that's sort of what I was expecting. As soon as I saw the weight in shipping, though, I knew it wouldn't be cast iron. It's a rolled steel plate. It still is very much what they say it is. It fits very well inside the kettle. It has two handles. It is pretty thin, really. It's not overly thick like the Art of Flame or something like that. You can't talk about this griddle without talking about the price of this griddle. It's 40 bucks. You cannot beat that price. The Art of Flame, I think it was like 160 or 170 bucks or something like that. And yes, it was an impressive piece of metal for the griddle. I've seen a bunch of videos on it and it looks really awesome. But it's more than a regular griddle, than a regular kettle would be. That makes it a pretty big outlay for a lot of people. So let's go through some of the pluses. Fit is very tight. It's a very good fit. Now it has a little bit, you can move it one side to the other. Once again, the price, it definitely makes you go, okay, well, this is pretty impressive for what it is, right? The versatility is a pretty wide, it's a full 22-inch griddle. If you wanted to make the entire thing really, really hot and you cook very even across, all you gotta do is put coals all the way across it and you would have a large grilling surface. For me and my wife, we can do breakfast easily on half of the thing. No problems at all. If you give it time to heat up, it really does quite well. Let's talk about the negatives. There's a couple. It's thin. It dimples when it gets hot. So you have like a spot where the grease runs to. That's the spot it's hot. I don't think of that as a negative exactly. Now, over time, will that become a permanent dimpled spot? Probably so. I've got an old griddle, like a standalone griddle, that was like a Blackstone knockoff, and it dimpled itself after enough time. It was a lot thicker than this. So, it'll dimple, and it'll stay permanent probably. But there's a solution, you just flip it over. I would say that would take care of it. I haven't had it long enough for it to become a permanent dimple. I'm also spinning it, seasoning it up a lot right now. So for me, so far, it hasn't become a permanent dimple, but I sort of think it will eventually. One of the big things is, how do you use this thing? Well, when I got I'd never seen anybody put charcoal under it. I just always seen it. It's there, it's hot. When I pulled it out of the packaging, it says vortex. I'm thinking, whoa, I'll put my vortex down and that'll get it hot. Whatever. I did that 2 or 3 times. 2 or 3 different ways. I tried it in the vortex, and what I was having was it got really hot right here and nothing around. And it's too thin for that. The heat doesn't transfer. It's better to lay the coals out, and it will be a nice even temperature along, one half of the griddle. And as you do that, as you let it heat up, the other side gets pretty warm, just not, scalding hot like over here on this other side, the side where the coals are. And that's good for where you put the bacon that's finished and you're just, working through and doing out some of the stuff. Or it's where you toast, maybe put the burgers to keep them warm while you're toasting the buns, that sort of thing. It works really well. That's the way I've been doing it the last couple of cooks, and it's worked really a lot better than the vortex. The vortex, because it goes so high up, the heat's just not getting spread across enough of the surface. Also, I'm going to try and show you how I did a grease trap. I just took one of my baskets, put some foil in it, and it's become my de facto grease trap. Now that thing has been there for 5-6 cooks, and it's not even a quarter filled. Now, when I was filling up, putting down the charcoal the other day, some of the lit charcoal went in there, and they caught on fire, and it wasn't even a bad grease fire. It just caught on fire. As soon as I put the griddle down, I saw them snuff out. So I don't think, I've seen some people review that they had grease fires. I don't know how they did it. I'm not saying they didn't do it, I just don't know how they did it. I can't really imagine any sort of grease fire on this thing without you just being able to put the lid on it, shut the vents, and you're done. Seasoning. I tried to season this thing exactly like you always do, and it never works out for me. So I did what I always do and just said, you know what, I'm going to start cooking bacon on it until it's done. I've cooked bacon 4 or 5 mornings, and it's almost completely seasoned now. Probably still has a couple small spots that need it, but not much. So if you look over my shoulder, there's my kettle and there's my Kamado. I don't know if I'm lining up or not. And there's a hummingbird wondering what I'm doing. Those are what I've been using. And I've used a cast iron insert inside the Kamado. And I use the Hunsaker or whatever griddle plate. The griddle plate is a more enjoyable experience. You don't get as much smoke smell on you. If you're cooking breakfast and then you gotta go somewhere and you don't have to go take a shower instantly, you can cook breakfast and you're fine. With the Joe, it's a big Joe, so you wind up with some smoke all over you. I haven't really figured out how to get that done really well yet without it being a full cook. It takes about 40 minutes in the Joe, it takes probably about 30 on this, on the Weber. So 10 minutes faster. I'll do some shots of how I've been doing the charcoal, my mistakes.
If you look at the vortex, you put all the heat in the middle and it gets very hot in the middle, as you can see here, but it doesn't really extend to the edges. So that limits your cooking surface to just the spot that's over the vortex, and that's usually not enough. So the first thing you're going to see here is where I dropped the lit coal in the grease trap, and there's a fire going. So I put the griddle on and it snuffs it out almost instantly. Now you'll notice here the griddle's getting hot. It's getting hot in a wider area, but it doesn't still get as hot as it is over the vortex when you use the vortex. But that's okay. If you're doing things like bacon, if you're doing things like eggs, you don't want it to be so hot that it's cooked instantly. For Smashburgers, that's a little bit different. I'm going to show you where I did some Smashburgers here. I did them on the vortex and it worked great. I was only doing a few. It worked really good. I got a good crust. If you're doing something that takes a little bit more finesse and not just pure heat, well then you might be looking at something like, say, asparagus and salmon. You do asparagus and salmon, you don't want it to be so stinking hot. So this The salmon's cooking here. I'd already done the asparagus. Now it's on the cool side, letting the cheese, the Parmesan cheese, melt onto it, and while the salmon cooks. I hope you enjoyed the video on the Hunsaker griddle review. It's a great little attachment. It adds a lot of versatility to your Weber grill. For 40 bucks, you cannot beat that price. That is a great price to add some versatility to your grill and give you some options. I showed you in the video some salmon and asparagus I did. Also did Smashburgers. I've done bacon and eggs several times. Anything that I could do on a Blackstone, I could probably do on this thing. Blackstones are fantastic products, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you don't feel like having another grill on your deck, this might be a way to give you some of that versatility without having to, you know, add a whole nother grill. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button. Now I'm gonna put some links to some other videos in these boxes here, and hope you enjoy those as well. Till next time, y'all gonna eat, might as well taste good. Have a good one now.